Hi, my name is Michelle Fitzgerald with the Senzar Learning Center, and today I want to talk with you a little bit about miracles and how to attract and experience more miracles in your life, or what other people would call miracles in your life, very regularly, daily, ideally. I got interested in the whole idea of miracles, what look like miracles, about 40 years ago. I started studying metaphysics back then, and my first teacher was a lady named Maxine Cardinal, and she actually had a program called The Wonderful World of Miracles. And that training program was all about basic principles of manifestation, understanding the basic universal laws, law of attraction principles, introduction to the subtle energy realms, and that there's a lot more going on than what we see, and also learning how to cultivate our intuition a little bit. Maxine was a gifted clairvoyant, and just being in her presence really heightened my awareness of what's possible in regards to the intuitive arts. She was a very, very skilled intuitive. So, but anyway, this course, The Wonderful World of Miracles, the underlying message of the course, it ends up, was that there really are no miracles. That was the basic message. There really are no miracles. What looks like miracles is really nothing more than having the right knowledge, and I'll emphasize right, the right knowledge, and applying it at the right time. And when you do that, the outcomes can appear to be quite miraculous, but in fact, they're not miraculous at all. They're outcomes that are really driven from a knowledge of the subtle energy realms and proper application of universal law and the power of thought and emotions. So I was learning all that back then, and I went on to develop a career that involved a lot of those things. Today I teach many, many classes that have to do with manifestation, the subtle energy realms, intuition, etc. But I want to give you a few examples of having the right knowledge and knowing the timing to applying the knowledge at the right time, and how amazingly powerful that can be, even with simple little things, how beneficial it can be on a day-to-day basis to have the right knowledge and know when to apply it. Today I left the house, to run some errands, and I was feeling just fantastic. I was very perky and peppy and had a big agenda for the day. I'm getting ready to leave on a big vacation, and anyway, I had a lot of stuff to get done, and went to get some gardening supplies so I could finish up a few gardening projects before I go. And walked into the store, felt great. Walked out of the store, didn't feel so great. By the time I got home, I was excruciatingly fatigued. My eyes were burning. I had a slight headache, and I thought, oh, darn. And I still have this huge list of things that I got to get done, right? So because of my knowledge bank, I was able to jump right in and do some intuitive work to figure out what was going on with me, what caused this fatigue. And I started dowsing. Now, if you don't know how to dowse, you can go on to my website and get a free dowsing lesson there. The website's right on the video screen here. And you can learn how to do basic dowsing, and you can also learn how to do simple muscle testing, which is typically what I do. I use an abbreviated form of dowsing or muscle testing, just called finger dowsing. But the first thing I did was I thought, okay, what typically causes this kind of, like you're a balloon and your life force has just been sucked completely out of you, what typically causes that type of thing? Okay, thought number one would be, do I have any spirit attachments? Spirit attachments happen more often than you might realize. Discarnates in the environment attaching to you can be very, very draining on your energy. But I dowsed and I got no, and I thought, okay, next guess would be that I picked up some negative thought forms or got exposed to some kind of big collective thought form in the hardware store that I went to, and that is draining my energy. Again, people leave thought forms. Thoughts are things, and if they coagulate and get strong enough and get charged with enough negative emotional energy, they can actually end up stuck in environments, or photocopies of whoever had the thought can end up just hovering in an environment, and you can actually be influenced by that. So, and I have knowledge of that, so I thought, thought forms. Did I get influenced by thought forms? The answer was no. That's if I get a weak muscle response when I try to pull my fingers apart, that means the answer is no. The answer was no, that's not it. So my third guess was, okay, I'm just kind of thinking about the hardware store, wait a second, I walked down that aisle of herbicides and pesticides, did I get any kind of chemical contamination? And the answer was a big yes. So here's some of the practical benefits of knowing how to do something as simple as basic muscle testing like this and knowing how to ask the right questions. And simple questions to guide yourself through it. The answer was yes, I had picked up some kind of chemical contaminant. And so I have knowledge of that too, and I thought, well, what are some of my guesses on what would be the right treatment to immediately eradicate the symptoms, the fatigue? And my first guess was bentonite, which is an edible clay, just a simple edible clay. And that actually tested very, very positive. If you have an interest in learning more about this, I've got a great seminar in the Sensar Video Vault called The Health Benefits of Edible Clay. I've also got seminars in the Video Vault, which is on my website, on dealing with spirits, and I've got tons of seminars related to the power of thought, including seminars about thought forms, other people's thought forms, how they can influence us, that type of thing. Anyway, long and the short was my problem today was that I had gotten a chemical contamination. And it dowsed very positively that I should just take some bentonite. So I always keep bentonite in my house, clay in my house. And I just put a couple tablespoons in a glass of water, drank it down, waited a couple minutes, drank another glass with a couple tablespoons. Within no exaggeration, less than 15 minutes, I had not a speck of fatigue. Now, that was about a half an hour ago, and you're looking at me now on this film. You can see how energized I am. I'm definitely, not on my knees with fatigue. And that was a simple result of a rapid application of bentonite based on dowsing results. But all of that is really a byproduct of having the right knowledge and knowing the right time to apply it. That's what I learned from Maxine all those years ago, and I believe it absolutely. That's where the real power lies, is having the right knowledge and knowing when to apply it. Another fun example. I have put together already a big trip for a training program in Ireland in October. And this is a not-for-profit venture, but I certainly want to cover my costs in doing the program. And the bookings for the program were almost booked up, but they were a little slow in coming this year, and the expenses aren't completely covered at this point. And so I have pulled several thousands of dollars out of my pocket to cover some of the upfront expenses. And I'm kind of very lenient with students, letting them pay, not expecting folks to have to pay everything up front, but giving them kind of, staggered payments to make it financially easier on everyone. And but anyway, bottom line, I didn't have enough money in the fund for the program to totally cover some of the upcoming costs, and that meant, I was going to have to pull a few more $1,000s out of my own pocket to cover that. And I really did not. I could do it, but I really didn't want to do it. I wanted this thing to manage itself. So as I saw the timelines coming for these big payments, I didn't worry or anything like that. I just stayed very calm, and I started implementing some of the strategies I know that have to do with subtle energy management, raising the right frequencies to attract what you want. My thought was cost cutting, that maybe I could get some cost cutting things, so I wanted to attract the right suppliers. Maybe I could bring the costs down a little bit. My thought was maybe I could get a few more registrations that would bring a little front money in and ease it all up, that type of thing. I could think of some very logical things to do, but I wanted to accelerate that. And I was open to my challenge being solved any way that was the most appropriate and expedient way. But I started energy raising. I got very, very clear on what I wanted, that it really was important to me for the costs to be covered. I really, really did want that. I found that I had a number of belief codes that were actually blocking that were actually preventing me from having all the costs covered. And I thought, oops, want to get those out of the way. I don't want to end up at the very 11th hour not having all costs covered. So got the belief codes out of the way, did some energy raising. These are just things that I've learned over decades on how to do fast and effectively. And here was the outcome. This was within the last week what has happened. And again, this is before any of those payments, those expenses that were coming due for the program actually had to be paid. totally by surprise. I had some ideas in my mind of how the funds could be created, but totally out of left field and by surprise. I go to the mailbox one day, I open the mailbox, and a couple of students with no comment or prompting on my part whatsoever decided that they just wanted to pay their entire fee in advance, and they sent me a check for their entire fee, two people for their fees in advance. Then a third person did that. Again, it was with no prompting on my part whatsoever, not even the slightest little comment. Setting all that aside, that created plenty of a slush fund for covering these expenses that are just around the corner. Today I go into my email box, and I had done sent out emails to do a bidding on the charter bus service that we're going to be using. I got the first quote in, and I'm running the numbers, and I thought, oh boy, this is really going to, I'm looking at the numbers, I'm saying, oh, this is going to put it really close. This is a little more than I expected, blah, blah, blah. And I got a couple quotes, and they were right at that level. And I thought, well, that's okay. Again, I'm just going to keep on raising energy. I'm going to stay focused on what I want. I checked for, do I have any other belief codes in the way? The answer was no. I'm all clear there. I said, okay, I'm just going to keep on keeping on and have faith that everything's clean and I've raised the right energy and I'm going to attract what I want. So I opened this email today, and here is a quote from a company that the quote is $1,500 lower than any of the other bidders. In addition to that, the driver that they would assign to my group and my tour would be a driver who actually lives right and has lived for like 20 years in the little teeny town that we're going to be staying at in Ireland. Now, I don't know how much better it can get than that. I asked for the right and perfect solutions, and sometimes that includes bonuses, like little things like this. This is going to be a person that is so knowledgeable about exactly where we're going to be. I've got a lot of knowledge, but they'll have a lot more about the area. So that's an example of what I call a miracle, where a surprise response comes in. It's better than you could have ever imagined, and there's even bonus material. That's a miracle, or what other people would call a miracle, but it's really not. It's knowledge, the right knowledge applied at the right time, and you get the results that you're after. Now, how do you get this kind of knowledge? How do you fill yourself with the kind of knowledge that I've got to do these types of things, to instantly know that, here are 3 things that might be causing that kind of instant fatigue. Oh, okay, you're having problems with cash flow. What are the things you can do immediately that have a likelihood of resolving that situation in a way that is absolutely perfectly acceptable and desirable to you? What do you need to do? That knowledge, the knowledge that I have, you can get in the Sensar Video Vault. The Sensar, at least you can get a start to that knowledge, a really big start to that knowledge in the Sensar Video Vault. Sensar Video Vault has over 100 seminars that I've produced over the last, out of the collection that I've produced over the last 4 or 5 years. I've probably produced about 400 seminars in that time, but I've plucked 100 that are really exceptional, and they're in the Sensar Video Vault. You can watch these seminars at any time on a pay-per-view basis, or you can buy something called a Sensar Video Key, which is basically a discount code that gives you a year's worth of access to literally everything in the vault, where you can watch the seminar, any seminars you want, as many as you want, as many times as you want, over the course of an entire year. The entire vault collection, if you were going to go in there and watch everything in there, it would cost you, because on a pay-per-view basis it's $25 per viewing, it would cost you like close to $3,000 to watch everything in that vault. Well, $2,500 exactly, now that I'm doing the math, to watch everything in that vault. With the Sensar Video Key, it costs you $297, so less than $300. And twice a year, I run what I call stellar sales on the key. Now, the first sale happened back in January, and the second sale is happening right now. It's going to run from now through June 12th. And through June 12th, you can get that key, that discount code, and full access to that vault for an entire year for $148.50. That's equivalent to you having access to that kind of knowledge base for about $12 a month, and it's an incredible knowledge base. Again, the stories I told you today are examples of the types of things, applications that you can use the knowledge for, and you're shown how to use the knowledge in those many, many, many videos. The other nice thing about getting involved with the training that's in the Sensar Video Vault is I've got a lot of advanced training programs, many of which are not even listed on my website. But you simply can't walk into my advanced training programs. You've got to have preliminary training, and the place where you can get the preliminary training is in the Sensar Video Vault. If you start going through a lot of those videos, you're going to be prepared next time you see me announce an advanced class and you start reading those prerequisites. You're going to see that, hey, guess what? I'm qualified and I'm going to be able to get in. That can be, my advanced stuff is just mind-bogglingly incredible, truly. An example of someone needing the material, more advanced material. Today, or yesterday, last night actually, I get an email from a gal, and she sends me the email. It's probably, a page long, and she's describing all these many problems that she's having. Oh, no. And she's not asking me for advice, not asking me to fix her problems or anything like that. She's simply telling me, she's one of my students, she knows how to dowse. She's telling me, after describing the story, that she has dowsed, that she has got a chakra link, that she's chakra linked with someone. Now, if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, or you've been involved with the Sensar training for a while, you've probably heard me talk about chakra links. They're gnarly things. They can cause you a lot of trouble. And she's dowsing on her end that it's a chakra link that's causing all her chaos. Well, I usually don't do this for students, but she's a long-term student. She's diligent. She really tries hard. She's taken lots of training already. And I just cross-checked her, and I dowsed. Not only did she have a chakra link, she had 4 chakra links. So I emailed her back, and I said, and she had asked me in the email, she says, I think I have a chakra link. But what kind of training do you have that would help me with that? And I happen to have a really great audio training program called Clearing Chakra Links in the audio archives of my website. And I emailed her back right away, and I said, take this seminar, the audio training on clearing chakra links. However, in order to do what I'm talking about in that program, you're going to need to take this seminar, this seminar, this seminar, this seminar, this seminar, this seminar, and this seminar. All of them are in the Sensar Video Vault. Now, she happens to have a Video Vault key, so that's very handy. She's not going to spend a fortune to get through all those seminars, but that's an example of what I mean by there's a lot of stuff I teach that, quite frankly, if you haven't been through a lot of the seminars in the Sensar Video Vault, you're never going to get into any of my advanced stuff, ever. So that's another advantage. I encourage you to take a look today at the Sensar Video Vault. Look at the amazing programs that are in there. And if it looks like something that would be of benefit to you to gain that knowledge and start stocking your coffers with that kind of incredible knowledge base, now is the time to do it. You can buy the video key anytime. But now you can do it for half price, and that's just a gargantuan savings. So I encourage you to do it and get busy collecting the right knowledge so you can use it at the right time. So thanks for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.